What is up, folks? UFC 307 was announced today, and I think Dana White came up with a little bit of shocker to a lot of people. Everybody was talking who is going to headline UFC 307, and Alex Pereira saves the day again. The light heavyweight champion is coming back, and boy, he is going to come back to an interesting fight. He is going to fight my guest right now, UFC number 8 light heavyweight Khalil Rountree Jr. Khalil, welcome. Did it come as a surprise when UFC calls you and offers you this title shot?
Yeah, 100%. It was probably the biggest surprise of my entire life. Absolutely.
How long ago was it that they, we are recording now on August 16th on Friday. How long ago did they reach out to you?
I've only known about this since Wednesdays when I got the call from Hunter that this could be a possibility. So, yeah, it hasn't been long.
So, first of all, I guess a lot of people were kind of surprised. I had actually asked Dana White on an interview I did with him about a week or 10 days ago if he was going to have Pereira fight Ankalaev, who is number 2, at Madison Square Garden in New York. And he said, no, we have something different planned. So obviously you were it. Were you surprised, just given the fact that, the UFC usually use those ratings and Ankalaev is right up there? Did that part at all surprise you that they went to somebody down in the rankings as opposed to right at the very top?
Yeah, I was absolutely surprised. It was unexpected. I didn't know that this was a possibility like right now. I was always prepared for it, and it's always what I've wanted.
Yes.
But I do understand that, yes, there are things like rankings and stuff that, sometimes I guess can play a huge part. But, yeah, I was surprised 100%.
And so let's get the big thing out of the way here. You are currently under a suspension by the Nevada Athletic Commission. I saw Jamahal Hill made a post, and I don't think Jamahal actually understood what was going on. If people read my story at keviniole.com, they will see the details of what happened. But very quickly, Khalil was supposed to fight Jamahal Hill at UFC 303. He took a supplement that turned out to have DHEA in it, which is a banned substance. He then had the receipts. He had everything, the documentation, sent the pills in. They did have DHEA. He only had taken a couple of those pills. And he was suspended 2 months by the UFC, 4.5 months by the Nevada Athletic Commission. That will end sometime in September and will actually be, I guess, announced at their next meeting. So Khalil is clear to fight. And there was no real intent to violate the rules here. That's the key thing, right?
Yeah, 100%. It was definitely just like negligence on the behalf of the company. So I did what was right, and just I had to report that, and like you mentioned, I had every receipt, shipping label, just everything that they needed to show that none of this was intentional at all. Just like I said, fell victim to negligence. So, yeah, it's been a crazy few months, and definitely not the outcome that I expected out of this, but so grateful and prepared.
Jamahal Hill, when you were supposed to fight at UFC 303, that would have been a huge fight for you. Can you take me back to the day that you realized, and how did you realize it had a banned substance? The supplement had a banned substance. Try to say that twice fast. How did you realize that it had a banned substance in it?
So, yeah, in preparation, I was in camp for the Jamahal Hill fight, not far away at all. And I had the owner of the company as a guest at my house, working out relationships and things like that. And he's the one that spotted it in my house and pretty much informed me hey, you shouldn't be taking this. And I'm like, well, thanks for telling me now. How am I, you know what I mean? Everything was sent to me. Everything that I was supposed to be taking that was specifically for me was sent. And so it was brought to my knowledge that way. So, yeah, I had no idea until, the owner of this company brought it to my attention.
The one bad thing about our society is that everybody jumps to conclusions and says things. And I wonder how you feel. I want to read you what Jamahal put up today on social media. He said, "I can't believe what I just saw announced. A guy pulls out of a contender fight because of a failed drug test for a banned substance and gets rewarded with a title shot. This is terrible for the sport and makes these rankings completely pointless. Now, maybe you can make the argument about the rankings, and that's a different story. But like, how does it feel like when you know your peers are saying that kind of thing?
It doesn't surprise me, and it doesn't affect me. You know what I mean? It's like it's like he's voiced.
Okay, so we had a little glitch there. So just you said it doesn't affect you.
Yeah, so it doesn't affect me. I mean, I understand that, he is upset for his own personal reasons. And like, okay, but like it's really none of my business what he thinks or what anybody else is, what anybody else thinks or what they believe about the business and how things operate. I don't think it's terrible for the sport. I think it's amazing for the sport. I think the fans are going to be 100% hyped on this fight. You got two guys. You got a guy like me. You got a guy like Alex. We're going to go head to head. I mean, it's exciting for the sport. I think it's an amazing thing for the fans. So, yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm grateful for the UFC for this opportunity. Everybody else, whatever, negative opinions. If you're anything but excited about this fight, maybe you got the problem. I don't think it's the matchmakers or the company. It's like, if you have a problem with this, then I think the problem is yours.
Well, and so I guess this is what I want to say about it. Like, if somebody wants to say Ankalaev should have had the fight, okay, I won't argue that because they do usually follow the rankings. But when you look at the fights and the style and the way you're going to match up with Alex, right? I would think it's a pretty fair assessment to say somebody's probably getting knocked out in this fight, right?
Yeah.
And your last five, you're on a 5-fight winning streak. TKO of Modestas Bukauskas. That was with kicks. Carl Robertson, body kick, had a decision with Dustin Jacoby. Chris Dawkins, you TKO him, and then your big win, Anthony Smith, in your last fight. So you've been on quite a roll. Anything that kind of changed in your game or in your mindset that kind of led to this resurgence?
I think the number one thing has just been focus. Like I have zeroed in and focused on this exact moment. I've always, like, when I made a decision to really get serious about being a contender and really be serious about being a champion, my focus shifted. And so, I as soon as Alex stepped in and dominated the way that he did, it's like, okay, then I've got to step up. I've got to fight harder to be able to get to where I want to get to. And so that's really the shift. And here we are now.
Yeah. Do you see any vulnerability in him? I mean, and do you think this is just going to be, I don't want to oversimplify it because I know it's high level chess, right? But in a sense, is it going to be power versus power? It's like me versus you, who has the most force here?
This is going to be skill versus skill with power included. You get what I mean? Like it's not just a power thing in my opinion. I think that it's a skill thing. I think Alex is a skilled striker with lots of experience and so happens to have power. And I put myself in the same exact boat. I view myself as, possessing the same qualities. So now it's just a matter of putting us both in together and seeing, two skillful, powerful strikers really go at it for the belt. So, when I think about like vulnerabilities, it doesn't stand out to me in that way. It's more just like opportunities. Like this is going to be the best for the both of us to just really provide our best level of work, and the fans get to watch it. And how cool is that?
I know. I'm sure as a fan, you watched his series of fights with Adesanya. Adesanya knocked him out in one of their rematches to win back the middleweight championship. Is there anything that you see in that fight, or have you even gotten into watching it yet, that you can kind of apply to your game and try to use against him?
At the moment, I can't say anything specifically. I have watched the fight, but I didn't put the pieces together because I've honestly only really known this news for a couple of days now. You get what I mean? So like with the emotions and everything going on, I haven't zeroed in, but I did watch that. I did watch that fight. I've watched all of the fights. And now it's just a time to kind of go and look at those things. I'm sure that there were mistakes made on both ends, and I get to go and I get to, to study those.
How scary of an opponent is Alex? Because it seems like he has that knack. You make one mistake and boom, the fight's over. You look at that Jamahal Hill fight, right? And how quickly he got Jamahal out of there after the low blow and everything. And it seems like you make one mistake and he doesn't miss, and he capitalizes on that opportunity. Is that a scary guy to fight?
I don't feel I don't feel scared. Scared is not something I feel. It's just excitement.
Yeah.
I'm like, when people talk about Alex and what he possesses, I see very similar, things that I have in my game and how I kind of perceive myself. Don't care what other people think and what, like their opinions, but how I view it. So for me to have this opportunity, I'm excited. It's not like a scared or no, dude, I'm excited. I'm fired up, and I can't wait to put on like the fight of the year. Honestly, this is going to be fight of the year. 100%.
Now, you and Alex are both big dudes. He walks around 240 pounds, and there's been talk. A lot of people are saying, and I've said it myself. I think Tom Aspinall deserves the heavyweight title shot, but I said, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing Alex move up to heavyweight, given what he's done, and get a chance to try John Jones or whoever's the champion at heavyweight. What do you walk around, Khalil, weighing in between fights, and is size going to be a factor at all in this battle?
I don't ever really feel like size is a big factor. I've fought guys in the division so far that have been, taller than me and, by 3-4 inches. And then, Chris Dawkins coming down from heavyweight. So it's not really a size thing. I think, I'm pretty strong. I'm pretty strong. And I think anybody who has fought me can definitely, second that. I'd say for me, like I'm more of a natural around like 230. So, 240, I could get myself up to 250, if I was careless, but in tip top shape with a good diet and, and consistent training like I do year round, I'm around 230. So yeah, not much of a cut, but also like not much of a size disadvantage in my opinion.
And lastly, I'll let you go with this. I'm just kind of curious what you think. Like, so now that you're in a title fight, and especially since, Alex has been out there a lot and everybody sees him, I'm sure the UFC is going to push you a lot, and you're going to be doing a lot of interviews. And, you're such an inspirational guy, and I wrote about your speech you made it last year in the cage. It was an incredible speech in the Octagon. How do you think that, the world is going to react when they get a chance on a regular basis now to hear your words and kind of hear that inspirational talk that you have? Do you think that's going to be life-changing for both you and I guess people you come in contact with?
I never really took time to think about it, but when you say it like that, man, it sounds so great. Like I would love to be able to, to be able to inspire or just live my life how I do, just genuinely, and it make a difference, or maybe add a new perspective, to the MMA world and to the fans, and give the fans something else to look forward to. I know it's fighting. I know it's a brutal sport. We go in there and we're killers in the cage, but there's a lot of good that comes out of fighting, and there's a lot of good that comes out of choosing a martial arts lifestyle. And hopefully, with the work that I do and that I've done, I just continue to leave a positive impact on the sport. So when I close the door on this, later on in my life, I can just be proud of the work, just be proud of the work that I put in for myself, but also just, for the fans, because they're the ones that drive us. So, yeah.
This little gray hair I have will tell you that I've covered fighting for a long ass time. And there's a lot of good people in combat sports. There really are. The fighters generally tend to be really good people, but they don't come much better than this guy. Khalil Rountree is top shelf, one of the best people there is. So I'm very happy to see him get this opportunity. Khalil, appreciate you, brother. Wish you good luck, and thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Appreciate it.